for a very long period. And to talk about the various winds, crosswinds that are blowing globally, we're joined at the India Today studios at the World Economic Forum at Davos by one of the senior most ministers in the Modi government, Minister for Energy, Petroleum, Minister also for Housing, Hardeep Puri. Welcome. You are, in some senses, the Davos man. I mean, you haven't been coming to Davos too often, but your career in your life so far has prepared you quite well to be here and to make the most of the Davos moment. How have all the conversations at the World Economic Forum been for you, Minister, so far?
No matter which sector of the global economy you view or try to do a response to your question, I think India is the story. I think India has seized the moment. It is very much occupying attention and interest in the global business community, in all the other related activities which get covered here, technology, health, etc., perhaps for different reasons. You talked about uncertainty in the global energy markets. Before you do that, I've been coming to Davos longer than most people. I've been a participant or an active onlooker in this process since it was called the European Management Forum. It predated Davos, but Davos is the location. Look, uncertainty is not new to global energy markets. Uncertainty stems from the actions sometimes of the producers, sometimes of all the other related players. Today, when you look at the global energy situation, there's no shortage of energy. So it's not as if, there is a lack of it and therefore, well, the producers decided to pull 5 million barrels a day off the market, and it came down from 102 million barrels daily produced to 97. There are other problems. Initially, Russia-Ukraine, now the Red Sea and what is happening there. But I am reasonably confident. I am sure that anyone you invite here for a discussion, it would be delusional for that person not to endorse your characterization of anxiety. But people are not really worried.
So let's spend some moments on things which are worrying me, and I want to hear what you have to say about it. We saw two supposedly brotherly nations duke it out, Iran and Pakistan. Pakistan now responding with strikes inside Iran, this on the back of Iranian strikes on Pakistani soil, quite unprecedented and surprising. This at a time when leaders of both countries were at the World Economic Forum at Davos, and interestingly they put out a picture around the time when this happened. What are you making of that?
Look, I think there is a centrality there in that thread. Before I go to Pakistan, Iran, I want to go to what's happening in the Red Sea, the Houthis. Non-state actors will help. I think the point of confidence that I get, and from where I am coming, I don't think it's in the interest of any of the state actors, Rahul, at this point of time to exacerbate the tension and have all breakout of hostilities on a huge scale. I don't think it's anybody's interest. What was happening, because between Pakistan and Iran, I've seen a statement which the MEA has also issued. I think that MEA statement is very well positioned, that any country which is confronted with the terrorist actions of non-state actors has the right to defend itself. Now, whether this is entirely an exchange between non-state actors or to what extent are state actors involved, we've been at the receiving end of Pakistan-inspired, state-sponsored terrorism now for longer than most people can remember. And we've never bought their line that this is state actors acting on their own. I've never bought the line. I don't think any of my colleagues in the government or the MEA have. In this particular case, I am not surprised. There are changes happening in the world of a very fundamental character. You had a situation where a rapprochement or an approach to a rapprochement was announced between very major state actors in that country. Some of the non-state actors were not reconciled. Did they carry out those attacks in the Red Sea on their own, or in the belief that the state actors would have their back? I personally think there is an overwhelming show of force there, and I don't think people would want to cross the line. So that's what gives me confidence. Pakistan and Iran, I'm not surprised at all, because what I heard was what these people were doing, going inside Iranian territory and carrying out certain acts. Now, without all the information being available, I was not surprised that the other state decided to act in self-defense. So that's the MEA statement, and that's about as far as I can go in terms of my understanding of the situation.
And you've also seen how these charges have been leveled against Pakistan, and Pakistan always in denial. Now even a country like Iran, which is supposed to be friendly, making and acting on that charge.
Rahul, I have had the privilege of chairing the 1373 or the Counter-Terrorism Committee of the UN Security Council. We were on the Security Council the two years that I was in New York. Whenever it came to a listing of a Pakistani terrorist entity, there was no doubt amongst anyone in the Security Council that that entity needed to be listed. Whether it was the Al-Qaeda Sanctioning Committee or it was the 1373 or there was another number which I don't remember, it's always one country which would not say that they are not terrorists, but they would put a hold on that and they would stop the proscription. Now, you know what the story is. But I think we are reaching a point, Rahul, where it's getting embarrassing even for them. Because today, the world is facing economic challenges. Half the world is in recession. The other half is flirting with it. There are points of turbulence. I think everybody wants that in a situation where major elections are going to be held in major countries, and I mean the United States, who ours also, but we are fortunately insulated from this turbulence. People want to ensure that their presence or their interest in any further movement is there. That's why they assert their personality. Otherwise, it makes no sense. I mean, if at all somebody had to do destabilization, then why stop at Hamas? There are outfits there with 20 times more lethality than Hamas available, which could have been used. So I don't buy that. I don't buy it. I think there is inherently state structures want to calm the situation.
I want to come to the Houthi situation. The president of the World Economic Forum, Borge Brande, was sitting exactly where you are on the first day of this WEF, and he said that he feared that oil prices could rise at least between $10 to $20 on the back of what we are seeing. Now, how do you think, Minister, as somebody with the diplomatic perspective and as Energy Minister, given that there is this desire that you need to do more, it's a very small militia, of course, but there's a desire you need to smoke them out, do more, and the consequences potentially of escalation?
I don't subscribe to the potential escalation theory for a variety of reasons. Today, prices.
You think it won't escalate?
It won't escalate. 70. No, I'm not deliberately trying to calm the sentiment. Look, today prices are at 78, 79, partly because of this. All the production cuts that they tried, taking 5 million barrels off the table, doing all that. Today, what's happening on oil prices are 2, 3 very simple things. Many years ago, one car in 25 used to be an electric vehicle. Today, Rahul, one car in 5 is an electric vehicle. Okay? Today, biofuels have taken off as nowhere. I think one of the most significant, not as tom-tommed as some of the other discussion, was the biofuels roundtable here. There are people seriously talking now about sustainable aviation fuel. I mean, people setting up major investments so that ethanol can be used for sustainable aviation fuel, scaling up biofuel production, enlarging the scale, all these things. Yes, there is always a danger of the non-state actor threat, which you say. The non-state actor also has to put on its thinking cap. If they do that, they've had 25% of their, ground situation knocked off. I mean, there won't be any hesitation, and no one is going to come to their defense. I don't think this is because today.
But you are ascribing rationality to.
No, I'm not. I think even amongst destabilizers, there is a cost and benefit. So I believe the gentleman you named is an old friend of mine from before his World Economic Forum days, from my days when he was Foreign Minister of Norway and earlier. Yes, I think it's good for statesmen to talk about the threat and how oil prices could go up. But I was with the president of the International Energy Association, and both he and I agreed that yes, there is a cause for tension, but it doesn't lead to worry. And I think, to use a pun, we'll navigate around it.
We're doing a long navigation. Now, there was this story which came out, which you denied, about the prospects of oil prices coming down in the build-up to the elections. Now, what are you making of the prospects that India is heading into elections and that there could potentially be a reduction?
No, first of all, I have never subscribed to the theory that an election is a coefficient which determines the price of petrol, because if that were the case, all 5 years, till we get the one country, one vote, we will go on having elections all the time. No, we don't tell the oil companies what to do. As a government, we can reduce the excise, which we did on 2 occasions, November 21 and May 22. And we did that. The oil companies, OMCs, had substantial under-recoveries, and yet that resulted in the 2 years, 21 to 23, of oil prices in India at the bunk, maybe Japan's another case, coming down. Throughout the world, they were increasing. Why? Because Mr. Prime Minister Modi reduced the excise duty even at a time when we were feeding 800 million people 3 meals of dry ration in a day. Today, I think the oil companies in the last 3 quarters have done well. Their 4th quarter results will be available. So this speculation which is coming is based on that. But on the other hand, if you are talking about uncertainty and oil prices going up at $10, $20, then you're clearly, that is something that would be taken into account. But I'm a person who's cautious in these things. Going forward, if this Red Sea and other things are turning, and if the 4th quarter is also good next year, then maybe the oil companies can think of a situation where I think they're still having under-recoveries in diesel.
Lastly, as far as the buzz around the India story is concerned, there has been some talk of how Davos has become India-Vos with the number of India lounges at the pavilion. In all the conversations that you've been a part of, what is it that you think the world is looking out to India for, and what is it that India needs to be wary of?
Look, I don't think we need to be wary of anything, and people don't come to Davos for altruism or philanthropy. They come to here to network, to meet people, and to get business opportunity. They see a great business opportunity, and I think they see an Indian trajectory which is social inclusion, financial inclusion, use of technology, very fast-growing economy, over 7.2% last 3 quarters, and the great potential of what it would be going forward. How many people with purchasing power, how soon will you become the 4th largest economy, the 3rd largest economy there? I think that is what people are betting on, and that is what is resonating here.
Well, you have a packed schedule, and there are some ministers, I'm told, who are waiting for you, and some top CEOs as well, so I won't hold you any longer.
Thank you, Rahul.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.